It's actually really good for me. I don't want the story to just end and be like, oh, was that it? I've been trying to do a few writing sprints just so that I can get really focused. Today is the 6th of November, so it is also the 6th day of NaNoWriMo. Am I doing NaNoWriMo? I don't know. I first heard about NaNoWriMo a year ago in 2018, and that was what gave me the idea to actually start writing a novel. I quickly realized that NaNoWriMo, writing 50,000 words in a month, an entire novel basically, was beyond my ability. So I quite soon gave up that idea, but I was already inspired to write anyway, so I persisted with writing my novel, and it's a year later now. So when NaNoWriMo 2019 came around, I originally thought that I would be a nano rebel, where I would work on my own project, a project that I'd already started, rather than starting something entirely new. It was kind of more of a completion goal. I would use that time to work on my first draft. The problem was that even if I wanted to try and write 50,000 words, there is no way that my novel requires 50,000 words for completion. In fact, I'm almost at 100,000 words now, and that is already probably too long. I only really have perhaps another 5 to 10,000 to go until I've actually completed the first draft. So that still wasn't really going to work in with NaNoWriMo. The other thing is that I am a very slow writer, and I'm not sure yet whether that's my writing style, because this is my first attempt at writing a book, or whether it's just being so new to it that I'm kind of really spending a lot of time on each sentence as I write it down. I'm not really able to just sit there and sprint out hundreds or thousands of words. In fact, it can take me hours just to get 300 words. Also because I'm doing a lot of research as I go. My book requires that I do a lot of research. So I guess I'm using NaNoWriMo just to feed off other authors on Authortube, on YouTube, who are doing NaNoWriMo, just to help keep me on track and keep me motivated. I figured that at the very least, if it encourages me to write even just a little bit every day, that means that I will get to completion sooner. And that's what I'm really wanting. I'm really wanting to get this first draft done so that I can get onto the editing stage. So that in itself is a big reason of why I would like to do NaNoWriMo. And I have, besides the first day, bizarrely I didn't write on the first day, every other day I have done some writing. But when you look at the graph that shows where you need to be in order to stay on track to achieve the 50,000 words that NaNoWriMo requires, I'm way below it. I've been doing 300 to 750 words per day. It's actually really good for me. Over the past year, I've only really been writing once, twice, or 3 times per week, and usually in perhaps a 2-hour sitting each time. I'm all over the place, I know. Following others who are doing writing sprints is really good too. I've been trying to do a few writing sprints just so that I can get really focused. As for where I'm at in my story, I've just moved past a couple of humps, some complicated, well, not even complicated, just some parts in the story that I wanted to treat with sensitivity, and I really wanted to get the pacing and the emotion and the build up and the setup and everything all working really well. I found them quite challenging to write, and I made myself cry yesterday because I've got really attached to my characters. I'm actually writing the wrap-up part of the book now. It's still a little hard for me to know how much I actually need to write. I know what needs to happen, but because it's over such a long period, it's hard for me to plan out or decide beforehand how I'm going to deliver it to the reader. I don't know. Anyway, the timeline thing is a whole other issue. But I don't want the story to just end and be like, oh, was that it? But then I also don't want to drag it out forever and ever and ever, or it's just going to be an epic novel, which it doesn't need to be. Anyway, you behind the couch. So in some ways I'm not going to know if I'm actually doing NaNoWriMo until I reach the end and see how much I've written. It's not going to be 50,000 words. I am a Nano Rebel because I'm working on a project that I had already started and was actually almost finished. The completion goal, completing my first draft, is really my main objective. So if I do that before November 30th, I will be really happy, and we will just see what the word count is then. Even if I'm able to complete the novel and then start to do some revision, which I don't know if you really can count that as a word count, then I suppose it's more down to hours and minutes, isn't it? Let's see where I get to, and I'll do another update later in the month. Good luck to everyone who is doing NaNoWriMo 2019.